My stepchildren once demanded that I apologize to their biological father for overstepping. So I did exactly that, just not in the way they expected. I apologized to my savings account, hired movers, updated the schools, and hand-delivered his children right back to his doorstep with a detailed ledger of every dollar I'd spent raising them. Only then did everyone finally understand what it meant to be a parent. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Venomous Vows. Isn't it funny how people can treat you like an ATM for years, then act shocked when the machine finally runs out of cash? They'll use your love like a doormat, then stare in disbelief when you take it back and walk away. My name is Caleb. I'm 42 years old, and for nearly a decade I believed I was building a family. But in reality, I was financing someone else's kids while being constantly reminded I didn't matter. This is the story of how I gave three ungrateful people exactly what they asked for, and how their world collapsed when they realized what they had thrown away. Let's rewind to where it began. I met Talia when I was 33. She was 34, recently divorced, with two kids, Noah, age 10, and Ava, age 8. Their biological father, Aaron, was what you'd politely call a part-time parent. He'd breeze in for birthdays or Christmas, snap a few Instagram photos, and then vanish for months. Child support was inconsistent. Visitation was whenever he felt like showing up, and Talia was exhausted, working two jobs, constantly behind on bills, and struggling to hold everything together. The kids were good kids, but they needed stability. They needed someone who showed up every single day. That's what I became. Within months of dating, I was the one doing school pickups, helping with homework, coaching at soccer practice, and taking them to doctor's appointments. I bought Noah his first bike. I taught Ava to tie her shoes. I spent countless nights reading bedtime stories and checking for monsters under the bed. 2 years later, I proposed. By then, I already felt like their dad. When we married, I made it official. I legally adopted both kids, full parental rights, full responsibility. Aaron signed away his rights without hesitation. Photos for Instagram were fun. Real responsibility? Not so much. We moved into a 4-bedroom house I bought, with a backyard and a quiet neighborhood. I made sure both kids had their own rooms and study spaces. The basement became a game room. This wasn't just my house, it was our family home. For the first few years, it was everything I dreamed of. The kids called me Dad. We had family movie nights, vacations, holidays together. I never missed a school play, a soccer game, or a parent-teacher conference. I paid for braces, camps, tutoring, college prep courses, the works. Noah was accepted into multiple colleges. Ava made varsity soccer as a sophomore. I thought we'd built something real, something lasting. But 3 years ago, Aaron suddenly decided to be a dad again. Out of nowhere, he wanted to reconnect. Never mind that he'd abandoned his rights. Never mind that I had been there for every milestone. He started taking the kids out on weekends, to fancy restaurants, amusement parks, shopping sprees. Classic Disneyland dad. All fun, no responsibility, and the kids fell for it. The disrespect began with small comments. Dad says chores aren't important if our grades are good. Dad thinks our curfew's too strict. Our real father is way cooler than you. I tried to talk to Talia, but she brushed it off. They're just excited to have him back. Give it time. But time didn't fix anything. It only made it worse. By 18, Noah was openly defiant. "You're not my real dad," he'd say. The kid I had raised since age 10, the one who carried my last name, looked me in the eye and erased me with words. Ava, at 16, was even sharper. She'd introduce me as my mom's husband instead of her father. At soccer games, she'd point to Aaron in the stands and proudly announce, "That's my real dad," loud enough for me to hear. The breaking point came 2 months ago. The kids came home from dinner with Aaron and demanded a family meeting. They sat across from me like I was on trial. Noah spoke first. "We think you need to apologize to our real dad." "Apologize for what?" I asked, stunned. "For overstepping," Ava replied as if rehearsed. "For trying to replace him. For making us call you dad when you're not our real father." My heart stopped. I reminded them that I had adopted them legally, that I was their father in every sense that mattered. Noah shot back. "Only on paper." Aaron is our biological dad. That's real family. You're just the guy who married Mom and Talia. My wife, the woman I had supported for years, just sat there. No defense. No pushback. Finally, she said softly, maybe they have a point. Maybe you've been trying too hard to erase Aaron. That was it for me. I stood up calmly and said, you're absolutely right. I have been overstepping, and I'll fix it immediately. What followed was the most liberating 48 hours of my life. I called my lawyer and began reversing the adoptions. I terminated my parental rights and restored Aaron's. Then I called the school district, removed myself from all records, emergency contacts, and guardianship. I pulled them from my health insurance. I closed their bank accounts, canceled debit cards, and stopped all financial support. Noah's college deposit? Canceled. Ava's SAT prep, soccer camp, and driving lessons? Gone. And then I documented everything. 8 years worth of receipts, expenses, bank statements, adoption fees, medical bills, tuition, braces, clothes, sports, vacations, camps. Every penny totaled $347,000. I printed it all neatly in a spreadsheet, 3 copies, one for Aaron, one for the kids, and one for Talia. The next morning, I drove to Aaron's apartment. When he opened the door, I handed him the folder. Congratulations, you got your kids back. His face went pale as he read page after page. You can't just... Actually, I can, I cut in. The legal process is already underway. They're moving in with you this weekend. Welcome to fatherhood that weekend. I helped Noah and Ava pack. They begged me not to go through with it. We didn't mean it, Dad, they cried. But I'd had enough words. You wanted your real dad, I told them. Now you have him, full time. Aaron showed up with a tiny U-Haul, looking sick. His 1-bedroom apartment barely fit the 3 of them. Within days, reality hit. Aaron worked the nights at a warehouse for $28,000 a year. No health insurance, no college funds, no savings. Noah's college dreams evaporated. He's now working at a fast food joint, trying to save for community college. Ava had to quit soccer. Too expensive. She switched to a struggling public school in Aaron's district. Within 2 months, their landlord evicted them for violating the lease. They ended up crammed in Aaron's mother's basement, 3 generations in 400 square feet. Talia? I served her divorce papers the same day the kids moved out. She couldn't afford the mortgage without me. She's now living with her sister, working double shifts just to get by. The kids sent me letters, tearful apologies, desperate promises. Noah texted me 6 months later. I get it now. Aaron isn't a real dad. He's just the guy who got Mom pregnant. You were my real dad, and I threw it away. I'm sorry I read it, felt nothing, deleted it. Here's the truth. You can't unring a bell. You can't take back years of disrespect. Those kids had 8 years to value me. Instead, they sided with DNA over dedication. So I gave them exactly what they wanted, their real dad with all his limitations. As for me, I moved on. I'm dating someone new, a woman named Sarah. She has no kids, no baggage, and she treats me like I'm the most important person in her life. We're happy. We're building something real. Sometimes I drive past Aaron's mother's house. I see my former family struggling, carrying groceries, looking exhausted. A small part of me pities them. But then I remember Ava introducing me as just Mom's husband, and I feel nothing but peace. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. Some are meant to burn. So was I wrong for stepping all the way back? For letting their biological father handle parenting beyond Instagram moments? I don't think so. They wanted authenticity. They got it. And they learned, too late, that being a dad isn't about DNA. It's about showing up every single day, even when it's hard, even when it's thankless. Too bad they figured it out after losing the only real dad they ever had. What about you? What would you have done in my place? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if this story hit a nerve, and don't forget to subscribe, because more stories like this are coming, and you won't want to miss what's next.